Let's get started here. Powering up your Facebook advertising. So, just to kind of introduce myself, I am John Schuster, and I'm kind of a freelance online digital marketer. I have been doing this for just about 8 years now, and yeah, I love doing it. I got my start in this kind of in a different way. I was working a job that I really hated, and I would go to this job every day, just not enjoying it. And one day the guy at work, he said, my ex-wife has these lunch boxes, these collectible lunch boxes in the garage, and you should try selling them on eBay. And I thought, I never sell anything. I've never sold anything on eBay. So he gives me these lunch boxes, and I painstakingly take photos, list all of these lunch boxes on eBay. And they sold, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. That was my first time ever writing copy in that sense for the internet. And it kind of grew, and I started buying all this junk at garage sales, and my wife was like, you can't do this. And so I sort of got into this niche of strategy board games, because I really, at the time, loved playing Settlers of Catan, and we would play these strategy games. So I specialized and started selling all these strategy games. I became a Amazon top-rated seller, an eBay power seller, and it kind of spun. I grew that to a pretty good-sized side business. And what ended up happening is one day I was walking down to the coffee shop where I was working on that business, and I worked on that business every day before I went to my day job. At least 2 hours every morning. I was the first one at the coffee shop, 6 a.m. till about 8 a.m. I would work every day, Monday through Friday, on growing that side business. And one day I'm walking down, and I search coffee shop on my mobile phone, on my phone, and the coffee shop that I worked at did not come up in search. So I told the coffee shop owner, I said, hey, Starbucks across the street, when somebody searches coffee shop, is coming up, but your coffee shop isn't showing up. And he says to me, he's kind of dumbfounded, and he says, can you help me? Can you help me fix that? I said, yeah, I can help you fix that. This time I already had quite a bit of experience doing things on the internet with the Amazon eBay business. I had started a Facebook page. I was doing some ads. I had built a website for it. So I knew enough about Google at that time to be able to help him. So I wrote up my first proposal. I gave him 3 options. Each one was like $400, or all 3 for $1,000. And he said yes to all of them, and boom, I had my first client. A few days later, I was at this Thai place where I would pick up food for my work. We'd always eat at this Thai place, and I said, I was talking to her, and somehow something about a website came up, and she said, do you build websites? And I said, yes, I build websites. So here I am helping this Thai restaurant build a website. Go fast forward another couple months later, and I'm talking to the Thai restaurant owner about why she needs to collect her customers' emails, because she can contact them and get more business. And I'm trying to convince her. She says, I don't have time for that. I have no time to collect my customers' emails. And there's somebody sitting in the restaurant there, and they kind of overhear us, and he kind of looks up and he says, do you do digital marketing? I said, yeah, I do digital marketing. And that ended up turning into one of my best clients to this day. Years later, he's still one of my biggest clients. His business has grown with my business. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got my start doing what I do today. I have 3 kids. You can see 1, 2, and the third one right there. And please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you. I love just kind of growing my network, and I'd love to be able to help you out. You can email me to john@johnfschuster.com. All right, so let's get started and learn something about Facebook ads today. So these are, don't get overwhelmed. I don't like these big text slides, but basically these are all the things I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover why you should be using Facebook ads. We're going to help kind of discover some valuable audiences. I'm I'm going to give you some keys to setting up a successful campaign and retargeting and some secrets and the ability to start driving sales, to learn that ability. How do you do that with Facebook ads? So why Facebook advertising? So by the way, the slides are going to be available at facebookjohn.com. If you just go to that URL, it forwards to a Google Drive. So why Facebook ads? Well, it's the same reason we do SEO and other things. It's really about traffic, right? Facebook has a ton of traffic for us. A lot of users, a lot of people we can get to come and to purchase, to come to our website, whatever that action is we want them to do. I love this graph because it really shows you how powerful Facebook is today. These are the apps in relation to monthly users. You can see Facebook there, 2 billion, YouTube, 1.5 billion, and look at the number 2 and number 3 right here, or sorry, number 3 and number 4, Messenger and WhatsApp. And you got Twitter down here and Instagram right here. And what's interesting about this diagram is these are the top apps. And Facebook owns this one, Facebook owns this one, Facebook owns this one, and Facebook owns this one. Right? Really powerful. Yes? There is on Messenger now, yes, and WhatsApp, they're working on, they have a new integration with an ad on a promoted type post that actually links people directly to WhatsApp. So, yeah, really big, and Messenger is the future. I don't go into that too much in this presentation, but they're really putting a lot of effort into bots and how that works with ads, your ability to basically create kind of like email lists. You would create an email list, well, a list of Messenger subscribers that you can broadcast to or interact with. Again, why Facebook ads? I mean, a ton of users, right? 2 billion plus now. Daily active users. This slide I like to use because it kind of shows how Facebook isn't just about the USA. It's really international. In fact, there's more traffic across the world than there is in just the US. So like right here, if we take a look at this graph, you see US and Canada as being the smallest one right there. And as it goes up, you have Europe, Asia, and the rest of the world. Some of my most successful campaigns are actually overseas to countries like Pakistan, Africa, different ones in Africa, India. Huge opportunities if you have an international business or international product. It's a lot easier because there's less competition and it's cheaper. Mobile ads is what's fueling this. So pretty much if you're going to run Facebook ads, you want to think about mobile. You want to think about how is your site mobile friendly. But this just shows you, and with the growth of the growth of mobile, well, the growth of Facebook ads is associated with mobile as well. So again, Facebook ads, huge. Another reason for Facebook ads is the decrease in organic reach. If you've had a Facebook page for any length of time, you know that your posts that you post, when you post something, they don't reach as many people as they used to, say, maybe 5 years ago. Facebook has gradually been pulling that back. In fact, it was just in, I believe it was January of this year, that Mark Zuckerberg posted saying that Facebook was going to change their model in the sense they were going to make it more about relationships and family and less about businesses. So today, more than ever, advertising is important if you want to reach people. If you're trying to reach people just by posting to your Facebook page and not using ads, you're really going to miss out. All right, so now we kind of agree, right, that Facebook ads is important and it's definitely worth a shot. So I'm going to kind of go over the basics of account setup. So the account structure of your Facebook ads manager is going to be kind of like this. You have the top level, which is campaign. You have the middle level, which is the ad sets. And then you have the ads themselves. Most of your work in your Facebook ad account is going to be at the ad set level. Recently, they used to have this thing called Power Editor, which I would always like to use, and then they have the Ads Manager. But recently they actually combined the two, so now they're all the same. Ads Manager is powered under it. You basically make the changes and then you say you want to upload them. The campaign level is the most important as far as choosing your objective. If your objective is to get engagement, then use a post-engagement campaign. If your objective is to get conversions, like maybe somebody filling out a form on your website, then use the conversion campaign. If you tell Facebook, if you use a different objective, and you tell it to say your objective you choose is to get leads, get conversions, and then you are trying to get people to click to your website, and your goal is just to get visitors, well, that's not going to work, right? It's not going to, Facebook's not going to help optimize for that. A better example might be, I know people who will try to get conversions and they run a traffic objective, right? So they're running the traffic objective to try to get people to do something on their website. Well, they're going to get a lot of traffic, but they're not going to get a lot of actions. And it's so important because this is how Facebook knows exactly what you want, and it uses the power of its algorithm and its machine learning to be able to programmatically help you reach that goal, right? So by selecting the right objective, it's going to help you reach that goal and help Facebook know what your goal is. So these are, this is a screenshot of the campaigns when you go in to set up a campaign on Facebook. These are all the different, this is a cool screenshot because it shows you all the different campaigns. Brand awareness, reach. The ones with the stars are the ones that I like right now the most. I might even add in one, the lead generation. But I want you to notice that Facebook kind of helps you out. They are telling you that there's different stages to the customer, right? And so you have the awareness stage, you have the consideration stage, and you have the conversion stage. If you go directly to the conversion type objective, this is for your campaigns, and you don't have anything here, or you haven't done anything here for, say, cold traffic for people who don't know you, you're not going to get this. This will not be successful unless you have this middle stage. Unless you're talking about retargeting, then it's different. They know who you are, right? So in this case, I'll go into a little bit more detail, though, about that sort of process to get sales. That's kind of what I'm telling you is that, for example, you would need to have an engagement campaign and then a conversion campaign. Sure.
Is it more because you want those same people you capture in the middle to then convert, or is it because the people who might buy want to see that established presence?
I think both. Both, but having an engagement sequence run to, say, the same audience that you're going to run the conversion to, or even at the same time, first of all, it feeds the ad. It helps the ad get engagement, like likes, comments, shares, which gives social proof to the ad. But it also warms up a large percentage of that audience that they've seen something from you already that's not very salesy oftentimes, and that can get them more likely to convert. So you could use the same ad, but sometimes you might even run a video view with a different type of ad. It's just a video. It doesn't ask them to do anything. It's just introducing them to who you are, right? Then, after they've seen the video view, I put them into a different audience for conversions, right? Now, because they've seen my video or watched it for a certain length of time, I'm going to target them with a different video ad, a different ad that's going to try to convert them, get them to take action. But another, just speaking of, in general, these different campaign types, messages, they keep innovating in this area with Facebook Messenger and how that connects with the ads. Big area to watch. If you are an e-commerce store, like you sell stuff online, product catalog sales is huge, right? That's your dynamic product ads, your dynamic product retargeting, that kind of thing. These perform really well. Lead forms on your site, conversions, but if you're a lead-driven business, it's also good to experiment with lead generation campaigns. That's a Facebook native form. Maybe you've seen that before where you click on an ad and it already has it. It basically uses your information that you have on Facebook, so you never have to leave, right? Facebook, it just fills it out for your name, email, whatever. Those can work really well. The quality can be not as good sometimes. Engagement, again, one of my favorite campaigns to run is the engagement and the video views. And engagement can include video views. Why do I like to run those? Because they're the cheapest, they're the least expensive to run. So this is a great strategy. Boost page posts that already have great organic reach, especially today because those organic posts aren't going to get any reach. So if you have a post that's doing fairly well, boost it. I don't see it as much as I used to see it, but Facebook would always send you a notification telling you this post is performing better than 70% of your other page posts. Boost it. That they're kind of letting you know that this post is doing well. So pay a little bit, and it's going to do better. And if you boost a good post, it's going to perform better than a post that's not very good. Facebook likes to see that action on a post. So we talked about campaigns, right? The objective. Now we're talking about ad sets. Most of your time, as far as work in your ad account, is going to be at that level. Selecting your audiences, selecting your placement, selecting your budget, right? This is where you're going to spend most of your time sort of differentiating or trying to find a campaign or an ad set that works better or better than the other one. So name your ad sets by your audiences. So again, if I'm spending a lot of time at the ad set level and I'm creating all these different ad sets, the biggest thing that's going to be different from ad set to ad set within, say, a campaign for conversions is going to be that audience that I'm targeting, right? Or it could be that placement. But the audience is usually the main thing that I'm going to be experimenting with. I might be sending it to an audience that looks like my email list, or I might be sending it to my website traffic, or traffic that looks like my website traffic, right? But that's going to be at the audience ad set level. The ad set level, so name your ad sets by your audience. It'll make things a lot easier for you. Minimum of 2 ads. So with the ads, that's the final level. Always recommend to have at least 2 ads in there. Recently, I know some people who've been suggesting to even just dupe the ads in there, even if they're exactly the same. Facebook has rolled out some A/B testing features that you can use. I like to create 2 different ads just to start at least 2 different ones. And when I start that ad set, Facebook's going to pretty quickly decide which one it likes, but it's still a good idea to have 2 in there. As far as any rules with Facebook ads, video. Number 1. Right now, if you have a video and you can use a video, use a video. I use video like in every single campaign I'm running right now. It really doesn't matter if it's conversion or video views or engagement. Video works. And you want to use subtitles on those videos too, if you can get subtitles on them. Ideally, because people are using it on their mobile phone, they're not always have the volume on. They're going to work better with subtitles. Another thing to keep in mind is that dynamic product ads. That's my second favorite type of ad after video. Those work awesome. Successful page posts, right? That's another great ad. You can take that same successful page post, the very one that you created, and you can use that as an ad. Another thing with the video, if you don't have a video, even a GIF will outperform just a plain image most of the time, because it has that motion, that movement.
Question.
Yes.
You talked about looking at the organic posts that have performed well.
Yeah.
Are a good one. Since they don't tell you that now, what's a rule of thumb relative to engagement? 10% more, 5% more than.
Well, I mean, you can still go into your page and you can look at the engagement metrics, and so you can quickly sort and see which ones have the most engagement. It's going to change vary by which page, but some should be standout. And I like to look at comments and likes and shares and kind of a combination of that. But they'll have an engagement metric in there, and it's you can pretty clearly see which page posts are getting better, or almost right away sometimes, when you post it. And if it's fresh, that's usually a little bit better too. If it's a really, really old page post, you can still run it, but it's not going to necessarily perform as well. Okay. So this is kind of a funny thing. If you're setting up an ad or creating a page post, try using emojis. Emojis don't have to look silly, I guess. You can see how this ad here from Buffer, or this post, they used it like a checklist. Something about emojis, people tend to engage with them more. Ads with them in the headline, I found to do better with an emoji. Now this may not last forever, but it's still working today. So we're going to talk more about ad sets, right? And that's where I want you to think about discovering your most valuable audiences. So there are 3 different types of audiences on Facebook. There's a custom audience, a lookalike audience, and a saved audience. Those are the 3 main types of audiences that you can choose for targeting. Custom audiences include your audiences, right? Your website traffic, your email list. You can target your email list with an ad. Well, why would you do that? Well, you pay for your email account if you have a decent sized list, right? So you're paying to email people. You're paying for your account with MailChimp or whatever, or a bigger CRM to be able to put something in front of somebody. Well, you can do the same thing with a Facebook ad. Pay a little bit to reach your list and guarantee that more people are going to see it. With email today, the deliverability of email is going down. If you have a Gmail, you know this. I mean, it goes right into your promotions column, right? I probably look at my promotions column every few days, if that, right? So I'm missing a good percentage of my email. Well, now you can have a custom list, you can upload your email list to Facebook and say, I want to run an ad to my email list. That very same thing that you might want to email your list about, you should run an ad to them as well. Think about running an ad to them to make sure they see it. Website traffic is another great one. So I like to put it this way to people. What if you could collect your customers' information of all those people who visit your website, their information, their contact information, and you wouldn't even have to ask them for it? Well, you can do that, right? You have the Facebook pixel on your site. You can build a list of people who visit your site and you don't have to ask them for it, and you can target them with a message, right? I mean, we struggled for years trying to put a good lead magnet on our site so we could get our customers' information. Well, you don't really have to do that. You have the power with a Facebook ad to put that message that you would want to put in front of that person with an ad. There's a whole bunch of more metrics, custom audiences. This one down here is a cool one. It's a newer it's relatively new engagement on Facebook. So remember I was talking earlier about showing a video to somebody to sort of be that first step? Well, I could build an audience of people who viewed my video for longer than, say, 10 seconds, right? So I could use that as a metric to people that I want to show a conversion ad to, right? So a custom audience of people who viewed X video for longer than 10 seconds, or I can even say longer than 50%, or I think 90%. So those are custom audiences. From the custom audiences, we get the next thing, which is, I'll get that in a second. So email lists, use Facebook to target your existing audiences. We talked about that. Most valuable custom audiences, website traffic, email, engagement on Facebook, video views. You can target people. We talked about all this really. Video views being the people who viewed your video. From these custom audiences, we can build what Facebook calls look-alike audiences. So if I have a custom audience of my website visitors, right, or of my email list, I can then tell Facebook that I want to create a look-alike audience of that list, or of those website visitors, or of those people who watch my video for longer than 10 seconds, right? So I can have sort of a head start in maybe trying to find cold traffic audiences, people who I don't have their information, I don't know, they don't know who I am. And I can use the lookalikes as sort of a way of a starting point to try to find more people like my current customers. You can see right here, you can choose the different range. Right? Follows very much the same thing of the custom audiences. The best custom audiences tend to be the best lookalike audiences, right? So converters, well, those would be, I can build a list of everybody who's bought something from me, right? A lookalike audience of everybody who's bought something from me. So if I have a list of my current customers, that's a great way to start with a great lookalike audience, a lookalike of my current customers, and now I'm going to try to find people like them. Email list, video views, greater than 50%. What I'm doing when I do this is I'm harnessing the power of Facebook and their algorithm to help me find people who look like my customers, right? So I can use that power to find people who look like my customers. I don't have to guess, right? They help me do it. So this is a great tip. A lot of people, when they build a lookalike audience, they do the 1% lookalike, and the problem with that is it generates the smallest lookalike audience. So say I did a 1% of my email list lookalike, and it was maybe 500,000 people. If I did a 10%, it might be 10 million people. Why build a bigger lookalike? I mean, those 10% is not going to be nearly as much like as the 1%. Well, it gives me the ability to add in more targeting options, or interests, or things like that to try to help refine it. If you start too small too, it doesn't give Facebook the opportunity to really kind of, you can't really use the power of the pixel and the optimization if the audience is too small. It used to be, I used to use really small audiences. Years ago, I'd use audiences of like 20,000 people, 40,000 people. Today, I'm using audiences, I try to hit 1 million if I can. If it's too small, it just doesn't work as well today. This is sort of the funnel to think about with your audiences. And the third audience type is the saved audiences. This basically takes the lookalike audience or the custom audience, and we can add in the interest, the geo, the age, and it saves it for us, right? So it's a kind of a combination of the lookalikes. I can put my lookalikes here, I can put my age, and then boom, save it, and that's going to be my targeting for my ads. And the beauty of this is you always want to, this is like the seed, right? The lookalike, that 1 million people we talked about. And then I might want to throw in a gender if I'm, say, a skincare brand, right? I'm going to throw in a gender there. And then if I know my customers are between a certain age and they're not 18, I'm going to put that there as well. Kind of help Facebook out a little bit and with my targeting. Again, great pro tip, try larger audiences. We talked about that. I'm using a lot larger audiences than I used to use. Let the pixel find them. Use that power of Facebook's programmatic marketing, right?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the pixel on my website. I've had it there for a while. I think I've gotten like a few thousand impressions. Is that enough data for Facebook to find an audience, like a lookalike audience, or do I need more people?
Yeah, it's enough.
Yeah.
It is enough. It's enough. Yeah, if you have the Facebook pixel, on the site and you go into your Pixel, you'll be able to see within the menu in the Ads Manager under Pixel, you'll be able to see that it's firing, and it most likely has enough. Is it going to be really valuable data if it's just views to your page? It very well could be, right? If you have another metric, like somebody taking the next step, it could be more valuable. But that really is only if you have enough traffic.
But how do I combine the two things? Like, how do I tell Facebook that somebody like clicked the download button?
Yeah, so you can actually, just like analytics, you can have an event fire, like when somebody clicks on the download button, right? And then that's going to pixel those people as people who clicked on a download button. So I was recently working with a bank, and we, had to exclude people. We don't want to target people who are customers, so we just do it based on them clicking a login button, and then they're excluded, right? Because we don't want to target our customers with our ads. But we might want to retarget our possible customers. And how do we do that? How do we retarget people? It's the Pixel, what we were just talking about, right? Installing the Pixel. We all have Google Analytics installed. Most of us, right? You have Google Analytics installed. Well, hopefully you have the Pixel installed too. We're giving Google all that information. We have it on there with Facebook. Facebook's going to allow us to get that information about our website visitors and be able to retarget them. So, I always like to say, so if you look up here at this code, you have to delete from this / to this / and make sure you save it. Did you get that? Just kidding. You don't have to do that. But if you install this code, and they made it pretty easy now. I love using Google Tag Manager to install this, and they even have an integration in the back end that will kind of a wizard that will automatically do it for you with Google Tag Manager. That tends to be the best way to do it. And you have these different events that will fire. These are the standard events. You can actually create a custom event too. But these are the standard events that Facebook's put in there. And why they created these standard events? Well, part of it is for the ads, so that they can optimize for these events to happen, right? So you can optimize for these events and say, this is the conversion that I'm tracking or going for with my app. Initiate checkout, add to cart, right? Purchase, lead, complete registration. And this is kind of what it looks like when you set up the retargeting audience. So I can say, here I have my Pixel installed, and I say anyone who visits your website, and then I can choose a certain page if I wanted, right? I don't have to. And then include past website traffic in the last 30 days, up to 180 days. So you have up to 180 days that you can choose for that audience, and then save that audience, right?
What are they capturing? Is it the people's IP address and their Facebook identity if they're logged into Facebook or something? Or?
Yeah, so it's tied to their Facebook that they're.
So if they're searching while they're logged in.
It's probably
Correct.
cookies.
And most people, you're always logged in. Like almost always. If you use your phone and you have a Facebook app, you're logged in. If you're on your home and you haven't purposely used incognito mode or log out, you're logged in. So it's the majority of people. This is a cool Chrome extension. If you're installing the Pixel and you want to check your competitors if they have the Pixel installed, if you've installed it correctly, it'll also show you correctly the Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome extension. It's a great Chrome extension, I recommend it. So what's a successful campaign look like on Facebook? We have to understand that there's this process that the buyer has to go through, and this is cold traffic, right? With warm traffic or retargeting traffic, skip this first step, and I could go right for the sale, right? Conversions. I don't need to use this step. But if I'm trying to get people who are cold, who've never heard of my brand, I have to start with the engagement. If I start with the engagement or the video view campaign, then I can move to the conversion campaign with that same audience. That's sort of the steps to really have a successful campaign on Facebook. A lot of people run Facebook ads and they say, it didn't work for me. Well, that's because a lot of times they're going right for the conversion. If you miss this step here, it really messes up your hand. This is kind of a cool ad. I like this guy's stuff. He's Jeff Walker here. You notice in this ad, he's got social proof. Somebody I'm a friend with says that he likes that product. It's got social proof on it. You see 73 comments, 244 shares, right? It's got a nice call to action button on it. Well, when you click on that ad, this is what you see. So I want you to notice how mobile friendly this is, right? Boom, click there. This is what you see. You see this page, right? Really clear. I can read it. It's not really small. The button's like not hard to click. I click this button. Boom. Same page. Boom. Pops up right on my screen. I can do it. Very easy to type. Very easy to press. Very mobile friendly. That's a key. That's one of the major keys to a successful Facebook ad campaign. You have to have a very mobile friendly landing page, right, or website. This is a sort of an advanced tip. I really recommend doing this if you are creating multiple ads and you're testing, say, different audiences. Use the same ad ID, so that way that one ad builds up that social proof, right? If you're promoting like from a page post, if you created a page post and then in the ads manager you select that page post, that's the same thing. But if you created an ad, specifically an ad, you have to make sure it has the same ID. And it has a place in the ads manager for you to enter that ID. All right, we're almost done. So, just a little bit of audience fun here. And Facebook's restricting this a little bit now. You can't see the audience details as much as you used to be able to see. You used to see down to like 20 people. These days, you only see like 1,000. This was one I did recently. Let's see, we're probably like 6 months ago. This was audiences living within 50 miles of Seattle, 25 to 65, and male, English, potential audience, potential reach 1,100,000 people. So what I did is I added in a few more targeting options. I said they're liberal Democrats, liberal politics. And then the key thing here, I didn't put it all in the same interest box. I said, and they must also. It's very easy to miss this, but when you're selecting the interests, I don't have a screenshot of this, it says, there's a little thing down below that says, and must also or exclude. And if you don't click that and you put them all in one box, it could just be anything that's in that box. But by layering it and saying must also be, I'm going to kind of narrow it down a little bit. Must also have income greater than $250,000, right? And must be interested in He-Man, okay? He-Man. So let's see our audience, 100 people. Wow. So if I don't know, if I was selling like Barack Obama He-Man figures or something, I don't know, I might target this audience of 100 people, right? So I use this example or a similar example for an audience of people who, for yacht salespeople. And I did the same exact thing, but instead of He-Man, I had yacht sales here. And it came to about 120 or 130 people. And it was, and I thought to myself, if I was a yacht salesperson, those 130 people, I would want to pay a little bit, even if it was just $10 a month, to make sure my piece of content got in front of those people, right? I don't need to sell a lot as a yacht salesman to make money. Now the He-Man figure, I don't know. All right. Oh, there was interesting. So you notice that potential reach 100, but then the daily reach 20 to 50 of 50, so it's smaller. So just to recap, why we kind of went over why you should be using Facebook ads. We talked about the most valuable audiences, the how to set up a successful campaign, about retargeting. I give you a lot of secrets and that about how to start driving sales. Questions, you can contact me or right here. Anyway, any questions? We asked.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the information.
Yeah.
One thing that happened when I did a couple of ads is I would put, let's say $25 for this campaign or whatever for 1 week or something, and then it would come back as didn't use it, and it's kind of you could extend it or end the campaign. What happened there? Because there would be 10,000 people in the audience or something like that. Is it because it didn't reach them? They didn't click? I didn't really understand what was happening in there.
You might have tried using manual bidding instead of the auto bidding, and that possibly could have been it. That you had manual bid set, you didn't basically set it enough to get any traffic. Like you said, I want to get clicks at X, but Facebook said no, we don't have anything. So I would always suggest when you're starting out to use auto bidding. Most campaigns that I'm running, at least for a lot of clients, I'm still using auto bidding. If you want to get into manual bidding, you have to be really careful because you can spend a lot of money really fast, or like in your case, maybe more.
What exactly is it?
Yeah, so Facebook allows you to manually bid based on, say, how much a conversion is worth to you, and then spend your budget that way instead of just trying to optimize for, say, the lowest price conversion. Right? So people who use manual bidding tend to have really large budgets and experiment with that. But again, you got to be careful. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone starting out at all.
So, what is the minimum budget size? Would you say for a campaign, and like for over how long period?
The minimum budget size for a campaign. It's funny, if you talk to some guys, they'll say, oh, you gotta have $5,000 a month minimum to start. I don't believe that at all. I mean, I've had campaigns where we had, maybe less than $500 a month, and we were able to still see results, right? And we scaled it up. One of my clients today that we're running, we still only run a few $1,000s a month, but when we started out, they were only comfortable with running $200 to $300 a month. But we demonstrated and we saw enough ROI from the $200 to $300 that we spent that we were able to scale it up to $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and on. And so that's kind of, there's no real, does there have to be a minimum? Facebook recommends if it's optimizing for conversions, I believe it's 20 per week. I want to say it's 20 per week. It used to be lower than that they said for the pixel to optimize. But they do a good job in the back end of saying the pixel is still learning. It'll say right there that the pixel is still learning. So yeah, you might be at some disadvantages with a lower budget, but if you're seeing conversions,
Can you talk about, at one point you talked about having a wide audience, and then you just gave an example of going to a narrow audience.
Yeah.
So sounds like there's a value to both. So could you clarify what?
Well, I would. Yeah, I mean, the most valuable narrow audience would be your email list, right?
Yeah.
Or your website traffic. I mean, absolutely. That's going to be a narrow audience. I mean, in some niches, if there was a small audience, kind of like the E-Man example, and I knew I wanted to get in front of them, it would be worth trying to run an ad to those people. Facebook's getting a little bit more discriminate about the very small audiences. They don't, like I said, they used to show it would show down to like 20 people, right, targeted. But now it shows like this audience like 1,000 or less, right? And they recommend making it bigger because they say it's too small. But again, you can target website traffic. I think the minimum is very low for that, and same thing with an email list, very low. If I just had if I wanted to make sure that certain people saw something and I had the ability to target them, and you don't just need email lists. I mean, you don't just have to have email lists. You can do phone numbers, you can do city and zip code as well. So like if you know their name, like their first name, and I think you need the last name for the city zip code, but first name, last name, and then the city they're in, right? Facebook can find them. Is it going to be 100% accurate? The more information you give them, the better. But those kind of audiences, for sure, are going to be really valuable. Questions?
Facebook Marketplace. Have you, I think they just launched it in October. Have you done anything with Facebook Marketplace?
No, I haven't, other than kind of see it a little bit in my feed, but I haven't seen anything yet as far as with that. Messenger is another thing, though, and Messenger, they're talking about now rolling out the ability to make payments for things with Messenger, which is going to kind of open up things a lot, I think. And I was at Digital Marketers Conference just a month ago, and the buzz and the talk, as was a year ago, is about Messenger and brands adopting ways to use Messenger. Because it gets such great open rates just incredible open rates, like 80%, 90% opens. And it's a little more policed. Facebook is policing it and trying to come up with really strict rules as to how you can use it because they don't want it to become like email. But there's a lot of opportunity there, for sure.
Well, thank you, John.
Yeah,
we'll
thanks.
post this on Facebook and hopefully we get some interest.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching.